Breaking news, Viking Nation, the storm has arrived, and it's tearing through everything we thought we knew about this season. A controversial call that left our tight end furious, and the entire fanbase screaming at their screens. A quarterback battle brewing in the shadows, while the coaching staff plays coy with the media. A superstar receiver going undercover and fooling his own general manager in the most hilarious stunt of the year, a decision that could change the entire trajectory of this franchise for years to come, and a loss so gut-wrenching, so filled with missed opportunities and catastrophic mistakes that it's left Viking Nation asking one brutal question: what the hell just happened in Philadelphia? Each of these shocks cuts deep, Viking Nation, and each one could redefine the future of this team. The refs made a call that might haunt us for weeks. The front office is hiding something about our quarterback situation. Our stars are making headlines off the field while chaos unfolds on it. And the mistakes, the mistakes that cost us a winnable game are piling up like bodies on a battlefield. This isn't just another week in the NFL. This is a reckoning. Stay locked in, because what you're about to hear will make your blood boil, your heart race, and your loyalty to the purple and gold burn hotter than ever. And listen, if you bleed purple more than you hate the Packers, drop that like right now and let the world know you're riding with the Vikings no matter what. Let's dive into the first revelation, and trust me, this one is absolutely explosive. Picture this. Viking Nation, 2 minutes and 58 seconds left on the clock. Vikings trailing the Eagles by 6 points. Carson Wentz drops back, scans the field, and fires a dart toward the end zone. The ball finds its target, our guy, our warrior, the man who's fought back from injury to be one of the most reliable weapons in this offense. He goes to the ground, secures the ball, and the referee signals touchdown. The crowd erupts. The sideline explodes. For one beautiful moment, Viking Nation believes we're about to tie this game and force overtime. But then, the dreaded announcement, replay review. New York is taking a look, and when that call comes back, it's not what anyone wearing purple and gold wants to hear. Overturned. Incomplete pass. No touchdown. And the man at the center of it all, TJ Hawkinson, he is absolutely livid. Hawkinson didn't hold back after the game, calling the reversal ridiculous and making it crystal clear that he thinks the refs got it dead wrong. I had control the whole time, Hawkinson said, his frustration boiling over. There was nothing there to overturn it. I mean, I was there. I felt it. Hands under the ball, secured it, and I don't understand. Basically, I don't understand the catch rule at this point. Let that sink in for a moment. Viking Nation, one of the best tight ends in the league, a guy who's caught thousands of passes in his career, is telling you he doesn't understand the catch rule anymore because of how badly the officials botched this call. And here's the kicker. Hawkinson says to members of the officiating crew disagreed with the overturn. Two officials on the field thought it was a touchdown, but New York decided to step in and take it away. Mark Butterworth, the NFL's vice president of instant replay, tried to justify the decision in a poll report, saying there was clear and obvious video evidence that the ball hit the ground. When Hawkinson landed, he claimed Hawkinson lost control during the process of the catch. The ball touched the turf, and then he regained control, making it an incomplete pass. But here's what Butterworth and his New York cronies don't seem to understand. The fans saw it, the players felt it, and Viking Nation knows the truth. That was a touchdown, period. And taking it off the board in the final 3 minutes of a one-score game, that's not officiating, that's robbery. The reversal didn't just cost the Vikings 3 points on the board, it killed precious time. Instead of tying the game at 28 with nearly 3 minutes left, Minnesota had to settle for a well-record field goal with 1 minute and 57 seconds remaining. And by then, it was too late. The Vikings never touched the ball again. The Eagles ran out the clock, and Viking Nation was left staring at another heartbreaking loss, this time with a massive asterisk next to it. Hawkinson's frustration is justified, and it's shared by every single member of this fan base. You can't go 1 for 6 in the red zone and win a game with 2 turnovers, Hawkinson admitted. We had the chance at the end, obviously. But yeah, it was tough. Tough doesn't even begin to describe it. Viking Nation, this is the kind of loss that lingers. The kind that makes you question everything. The kind that makes you wonder if the refs have it out for us. And let me ask you this. How many times are we going to watch New York take touchdowns off the board for our guys, while letting other teams get away with murder? How many times are we going to accept clear and obvious evidence as an excuse, when replays show nothing of the sort? If you're as fed up with the officiating as Hawkinson is, smash that subscribe button right now and let the league know Viking Nation isn't going to stay silent. We see what's happening. We know what's being taken from us, and we're not backing down. But hold on, as infuriating as that overturned touchdown is, the next story cuts even deeper, because it's about the man under center and the uncertain future of this offense. The whispers started the moment the final whistle blew in Philadelphia. Carson Wentz threw the interceptions, one of them a pick six that swung momentum entirely in favor of the Eagles. He missed open receivers. He made baffling decisions. And now, with a short week ahead and a Thursday night matchup against the Chargers looming, the question on everyone's mind is simple: who the hell is going to be under center? At Viking Nation, the answer from head coach Kevin O'Connell is anything but clear. When asked directly if he plans to stick with Wentz after the loss, O'Connell kept things frustratingly vague. First and foremost, I thought he competed, O'Connell said. We've got to see how he's doing health-wise. He had to use his legs a few times. We'll see how he bounces back. But then came the real bombshell. I know Max Brosmer was ready to play today, and J.J. McCarthy was the emergency third, but J.J. got some work in last week. We'll see how he's feeling too. In a short week, we'll put together the best plan possible, and that includes the players who are available. Did you catch that, Viking Nation? Asterisk asterisk J.J. McCarthy asterisk asterisk, the 10th overall pick in the draft, the future of this franchise, the guy who hasn't played since September 14th when he suffered an ankle sprain against the Falcons, might be ready to go. And if insider reports are accurate, McCarthy's timeline for return was always for 2 6 weeks. Next Sunday marks exactly 5 weeks since the injury, which means a return on Thursday night is absolutely within the realm of possibility. So here's the real question: do the Vikings hand the ball back to Wentz and hope he doesn't commit any more catastrophic mistakes? Or do they give the keys to McCarthy, throw him into the fire on a short week against his college coach Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, and see what the kid is really made of? Because here's the brutal truth: Viking Nation, Wentz is who he is. He's a high-quality backup capable of racking up yardage and winning games if everything breaks right. But he's also a turnover-prone veteran who's played for 6 teams in 6 seasons and has been a backup for the last 3 years. There's a reason for that. Against the Eagles, Wentz's first interception was a disaster. Jalen Carter got pressure, Wentz panicked, and he fired a pass directly into the chest of Eagles linebacker asterisk asterisk Jalix Hunt asterisk asterisk, who returned it 42 yards for a touchdown. The second interception was even worse, a reckless throw into double coverage when the Vikings were pinned deep in their own territory. On 2nd and 27, O'Connell didn't mince words about the turnovers. The turnover plays, the first one obviously, even if we end up having to take a sack right there. Interceptions for points the other way are huge plays in a game, O'Connell said. And then, we're in 2nd and forever. That's not the time we want to be throwing the ball down the field. But here's what makes this situation so fascinating. Viking Nation, O'Connell said on Friday before the game that he would feel comfortable using McCarthy in an emergency, but only if Wentz and Brosmer weren't available. That means the coaching staff believes McCarthy is healthy enough to play if absolutely necessary. So why not start him? Why not see what the future looks like right now instead of clinging to a veteran who's shown time and time again that he can't be trusted in big moments? The Vikings are 3-3. The season is teetering on the edge, and every game from here on out matters. Wentz has gone 2-2 as the starter, with losses to the Steelers and Eagles and wins over the Bengals and Browns. That's not exactly inspiring confidence, Viking Nation. And with the calendar loaded with tough opponents ahead, this team can't afford to waste any more time figuring out if Wentz is the answer. Spoiler alert, he's not. McCarthy might not be ready to lead this team to a Super Bowl in February. That's a tall order for any rookie, let alone one who's missed significant time with an injury. But the Vikings can't properly evaluate what McCarthy is capable of, what his ceiling might be in the coming years, until he gets real game reps. And if the ankle is healthy enough for him to serve as the emergency third quarterback, it's healthy enough for him to start. The decision should be clear. Viking Nation, as soon as McCarthy is ready to roll, he needs to be out there. No more games, no more waiting, no more hoping Wentz can magically turn into something he's never been. The future is sitting on the sideline, and it's time to unleash it. If you believe J.J. McCarthy should be the starter moving forward, drop a comment right now and let your voice be heard, because this franchise needs to hear from Viking Nation loud and clear. We're ready for the future, and we're not interested in clinging to the past. And just when you think the quarterback controversy is the wildest story of the week, wait until you hear what our superstar receiver pulled off. Viking Nation, let's take a brief detour from the chaos and heartbreak of Sunday's loss to talk about something that brought pure, unfiltered joy to this fan base. Because while the season might be teetering on the edge, one man reminded us why we love this team so damn much. And that man is none other than Justin Jefferson the best wide receiver on the planet, the pride of Minnesota, and apparently a pretty damn good actor. You've seen Jefferson dominate defensive backs with the smoothest routes in football. You've watched him find soft spots in zone coverage like it's second nature. You've marveled at his ability to make the impossible look routine. But did you know he's also got serious talent in front of the camera? Jefferson has appeared in commercials for Little Caesars and Pepsi, but his latest role might be his greatest performance yet. In a recent episode of Eli Manning's Amazon Prime video series that undercovers, Jefferson went full method actor, disguising himself as a photographer named Darius Frost for an elaborate prank on none other than Vikings general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and Viking Nation. This wasn't just a quick cameo. This was a full-blown masterclass in deception. Jefferson showed up to a photo shoot for Adolfo-Mensah dressed in a wild outfit, complete with a wig, glasses, and enough makeup to completely transform his appearance. The production team nailed the disguise, and Jefferson himself changed his voice just enough to throw off anyone who didn't know him personally. The result? Adolfo-Mensah had absolutely no idea he was talking to his star receiver. For several glorious minutes, Darius Frost led the photo shoot, cracking jokes, mispronouncing Adolfo-Mensah's first name as Kwesi, casually bringing up Jefferson's $140 million contract, the same deal. Adolfo-Mensah helped orchestrate and even discussing his regular gig as a bird photographer. It was awkward, hilarious, and absolutely perfect. Adolfo-Mensah played along, completely oblivious to the fact that one of the most famous athletes in the world was standing 3 feet away from him. He answered questions about his daily responsibilities as GM, talked about the team, and never once suspected anything was off. The reveal came at the end of the shoot when Jefferson and Adolfo-Mensah shook hands, and the disguise finally clicked. The GM's reaction was priceless, a mix of shock, laughter, and disbelief as he admitted the photo really did look like Jefferson, and that everything Darius Frost had been saying suddenly made perfect sense. But here's the best part, Viking Nation. Even some of Jefferson's own teammates were fooled when they saw photos of the disguise. That's how good this was. Jefferson didn't just pull off a prank, he created a moment that will live forever in Vikings lore. Social media exploded with memes, clips, and reactions from fans who couldn't get enough of the Darius Frost persona. And honestly, who could blame them? In a season filled with frustration and uncertainty, Jefferson gave Viking Nation something to smile about, something to share, something to remind us why we love this team and the players who wear the purple and gold. And the good news keeps coming for Jefferson. Reports show he's currently the top-selling NFL jersey in Europe, as the league continues pushing to expand its presence overseas with more games, a potential Super Bowl, and even talk of an expansion team. Meanwhile, Arizona Cardinals legend Larry Fitzgerald recently named Jefferson as the best wide receiver in the NFL today during an appearance on The Rich Eisen Show. The respect is real. Viking Nation, the world knows what we've known for years. Justin Jefferson is special. He's not just one of the best players in football. He's one of the most charismatic, entertaining, and beloved figures in the sport. And whether he's torching secondaries on Sundays or pranking his own GM in disguise, Jefferson continues to prove why he's the heartbeat of this franchise. If you're proud to have Justin Jefferson as a Viking, hit that like button right now and let the haters know we've got the best receiver in the game. Because while other teams are stuck with divas and drama, we've got a superstar who's as fun off the field as he is unstoppable on it. But trust me, the night isn't over, because the next headline is pure controversy, and it's dividing Viking Nation right down the middle. Alright, Viking Nation, it's time to have the conversation nobody in the front office seems willing to have publicly. After watching Carson Wentz throw the interceptions, miss wide open receivers, and looked completely overwhelmed in crucial moments against the Eagles. The decision about who should be under center moving forward shouldn't be controversial. It should be crystal clear. And yet, here we are, still debating whether the Vikings should stick with the veteran or hand the reins to the future. Let me make this as simple as possible. The moment J.J. McCarthy is fully healthy, he needs to be the starter. No hesitation, no wait and see, no clinging to the safety of a known commodity. It's time to find out what this franchise has in its 10th overall pick, and the only way to do that is to put him on the field and let him play. Carson Wentz's performance against the Eagles showed us exactly who he is, Viking Nation. He's a backup, a capable one. Sure, someone who can rack up yardage and keep an offense moving if everything goes right. But he's also a turnover machine who's been bouncing around the league for years. Because teams keep realizing the same thing, he can't be trusted when it matters most. Wentz has played for 6 teams in 6 seasons. He's been a backup for the last 3 years. There's a reason for that, and Sunday reminded us all what that reason is. His first interception was a disaster waiting to happen. Elaine Carter applied pressure, Wentz panicked under duress, and he threw a pass directly into the chest of Eagles linebacker Jalix Hunt, who waltzed 42 yards into the end zone for a pick 6. That single play flipped the entire momentum of the game and put the Vikings in a hole they never fully climbed out of. The second interception was somehow even worse. On 2nd and 27, pinned deep in their own territory, Wentz made the inexplicable decision to chuck the ball downfield into double coverage. It was reckless, it was unnecessary, and it perfectly encapsulated why Wentz will never be the long-term answer for this team. Kevin O'Connell tried to stay diplomatic after the game, but even he couldn't hide his frustration. Interceptions for points the other way are huge plays in a game, O'Connell said. And then, we're in 2nd and forever. That's not the time we want to be throwing the ball down the field. But here's the thing, Viking Nation, this isn't just about the bad throws. Wentz missed multiple touchdown opportunities in the first quarter alone. He overthrew Jordan Addison on a deep ball that should have been an easy 6 points. He missed him again on a quick slant that could have gone the distance. And throughout the game, he made decision after decision that left fans, coaches, and teammates shaking their heads. This is not a Case Keenum situation. This is not a Randall Cunningham story where a veteran backup catches lightning in a bottle and leads a talented roster to the NFC Championship. Carson Wentz is a known entity, and what we know isn't good enough. The Vikings are 3-3 right now, sitting on the edge of relevance in a brutally competitive NFC. Every game from here on out is critical, and the schedule only gets tougher. So the question becomes, do you waste the rest of the season trying to squeeze blood from a stone with Wentz, or do you take the leap and invest in the future? J.J. McCarthy might not be ready to win a Super Bowl in February. That's an incredibly high bar for any rookie, especially one who's missed significant development time due to injury. But the Vikings will never know what McCarthy is truly capable of until he gets real, meaningful game reps. They can't properly evaluate his skills, his decision-making, his poise under pressure, or his ceiling as a franchise quarterback until he's out there playing. And here's the reality. Viking Nation, if McCarthy is healthy enough to serve as the emergency third quarterback, he's healthy enough to start. The coaching staff admitted as much when O'Connell said he'd feel comfortable using McCarthy in a pinch. So why not give him the keys now? Why not see what the future looks like instead of clinging to a past that was never all that promising to begin with? Insider reports suggest McCarthy's recovery timeline was always for 2 6 weeks. Next Sunday marks exactly 5 weeks since his ankle injury against the Falcons. If he's not ready for Thursday night's game against the Chargers, fine, start him in Week 9 against Detroit. But the time for waiting is over. The Vikings need to know what they have in J.J. McCarthy, and the only way to find out is to put him on the field and let him play. Will he make mistakes? Probably. Will there be growing pains? Absolutely. But at least those mistakes will come with the potential for growth, development, and long-term success. With Wentz, you already know what you're getting, a ceiling that's far too low for a team with Super Bowl aspiration. The case for McCarthy is simple. Viking Nation, he represents the future, and the future is now. This franchise can't afford to waste another week, another game, another opportunity trying to convince themselves that Carson Wentz is anything more than what he's shown us for years. If you believe J.J. McCarthy should be the starter the moment he's healthy, drop a comment right now and make your voice heard. because this decision shouldn't be difficult, and Viking Nation deserves to see what the future holds. And listen closely, the next chapter dives into every brutal mistake, every missed opportunity, and every gut-wrenching moment from Sunday's loss. Viking Nation, let's talk about the 6 things that stood out in Sunday's soul-crushing loss to the Eagles. Because this wasn't just a game that slipped away, this was a masterclass in self-destructs. From missed opportunities in the opening drive to a center who had a nightmare performance to a defense that couldn't get off the field on 3rd down when it mattered most, this game had it all. And by it all, I mean every possible way a team could beat itself. Let's start with the Vikings' very first possession. Carson Wentz hit Jordan Addison for a big gain, but the throw was so off target that Addison had to work for every inch. If Wentz puts that ball where it needs to be, Addison walks into the end zone untouched. A few plays later, Wentz missed Addison again on a quick slant to the left, another potential touchdown erased by poor ball placement. FOX analyst Greg Olson even called it out, saying, if Wentz makes a better throw, that might be a touchdown. If he can put it on Jordan Addison's face mask, I think he walks in for a score. Then came the snap from hell. On 3rd and 10 from the Eagles' 19-yard line, center *** Blake Brandel *** sailed a snap over Wentz's head, resulting in a 22-yard loss. The Vikings were bailed out by Will Reichard, who drilled a 59-yard field goal to make it 7-3, but the damage was done. That opening drive should have been a statement. Instead, it was a preview of the chaos to come. And speaking of chaos, let's talk about Wentz's pick 6. On the Vikings' next possession, Jalen Carter got pressure, Wentz panicked, and he threw the ball directly to Jalix Hunt, who returned it 42 yards for a touchdown. Just like that, the Eagles were up 14-3, and the Vikings were playing from behind for the rest of the game. Things only got worse from there. After the pick 6, the Vikings needed a response. Instead, they got a holding penalty on Josh Oliver that put them in 1st and 19. Wentz then threw a backward pass on a quick screen that counted as a fumble, resulting in an 8-yard loss. On 2nd and 27, Wentz threw another interception, a desperation heave into double coverage that had no chance of being completed. To possessions, to interceptions, and the game was already slipping away. But if you want to talk about a player who had a truly disastrous day, look no further than Blake Brandel, the second-year center, making just his 2nd career start at the position, committed for brutal errors that swung the game in Philadelphia's favor. First, he snapped the ball over Wentz's head for a 22-yard loss. Then, he got beat by Jalen Carter, leading to the pressure that caused Wentz's pick 6. Later, he was called for holding on 4th and 1, negating a Wentz touchdown pass to Jalen Naylor. And finally, he got beat for a sack on 3rd and 5 from the 10-yard line, forcing the Vikings to settle for a field goal instead of a touchdown. You could argue that Brandel's mistakes alone cost the Vikings 14 points, a 14-point swing that would have completely changed the outcome of this game. And let's not forget the defense. Viking Nation, the Vikings had the Eagles on the ropes multiple times, while Jalen Hurts kept converting on 3rd down when it mattered most. In the 4th quarter, with the Vikings clawing back and threatening to complete the comeback, Hurts hit A.J. Brown for 45 yards on 3rd and 9, keeping a drive alive that ended with the Eagles extending their lead to 28-22 with less than 2 minutes left. Earlier in the quarter, Hurts bought time and threw on the run to Brown for 13 yards, converting a 3rd and 13 that led to the touchdown. That put Philly up 28-19. And late in the 3rd quarter, Hurts connected with Devonta Smith for 28 yards on 3rd and 15, another back-breaking conversion that sucked the life out of the Vikings' defense. When your offense can't finish drives in the red zone, Minnesota went 1 for 6 on Sunday. Your defense can't get off the field on 3rd down. You're not going to win many games. Period. So here we are, Viking Nation, 3-3, coming off a loss that felt like it should have been a win. Staring down a short week with a Thursday night game in Los Angeles against the Chargers looming. The quarterback situation is a mess. The offensive line is struggling. The defense is gassed. And the mistakes keep piling up. But here's the thing. The season is far from over. The Vikings are still in the hunt. They still have the talent to compete with anyone in the NFC. They still have Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in football. They still have a young quarterback waiting in the wings who might be the answer everyone's been searching for. And they still have Viking Nation, the most passionate, loyal, and relentless fan base in the entire league. So if you're still riding with this team through the chaos, through the heartbreak, Through the frustration and the controversy, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, smash that like button and let the world know you bleed purple and gold no matter what. Second, drop a comment telling me who you want to see under center on Thursday night, Wentz or McCarthy, because this fanbase deserves to have its voice heard. And third, hit that subscribe button and join Viking Nation as we ride this roller coaster all the way to the end, because the next 72 hours might be the most decisive in this franchise's recent history. Will McCarthy finally get his shot? Will the offensive line figure things out? Will the defense step up and start making stops when it counts? And most importantly, will the Vikings respond to adversity like champions, or will they crumble under the weight of missed opportunities and self-inflicted wounds? The answers are coming, Viking Nation, and when they do, you're going to want to be right here with us, breaking down every move, every decision, and every game as the season unfolds. Stay locked in, stay loud, and never stop believing in the purple and gold. Because if you thought this week felt like an earthquake, what's coming next could be the aftershock that topples the whole season, or the spark that ignites a championship run. Skol, Vikings, let's ride.